Hey guys, namaste and welcome back to our YouTube channel Tutor Pratik. And today's CSS session, we are going to learn about CSS Combinators. So after learning about the combinators, you will be able to select any one element or group of elements that are inside your targeted combinator. So please keep watching our video till end, and if you have any queries related to the web designing, you can feel free to write me through the comment box. And if you're watching this video first time and still didn't subscribe to our YouTube channel, please do subscribe our YouTube channel and press the bell button that it will be notified whenever we publish our new session videos. So let's start today's session. CSS Combinators is something that explains the relationship between the selectors. A CSS selector can contain more than one simple selector. Between the simple selectors, we can include a combinator. There are basically 4 different combinators in CSS: Descendant Selector, Child Selector, Adjacent Sibling Selector, and General Sibling Selector. Here in our HTML, I have 5 paragraphs. Among them, 3 of paragraphs are inside the div, and the paragraph 3 is again inside the section tag, and remaining 2 paragraphs 4 and 5 are outside of our div tag. Now firstly, let's take the Descendant Selector. For using the Descendant Selector, we will give a div and space, which means we are using Descendant Selector, and we will give the element p, and inside it we can give any properties like background, color, red. Now here we have 2 elements which are separated by a space, and this space is known as Descendant Selector. So this Descendant Selector will be applied on all those p tags which are inside the div element. That means the background color red will be applied all those p tags which are inside this div element. So the background color red should be applied only for this paragraph 1, 2 and 3, and it will not be applied for these 2 paragraphs which are outside of this div. So let's check it. So when I got refresh my browser, we can see that the background color red is applied only for these 3 paragraphs which are inside this div tag, and it is not affected for these 2 paragraphs because they are not inside the div tag. So in this manner, our Descendant Selector implements its properties. Similarly, the Child Selector selects all elements that are the children of a specific element. For applying Child Selector, we have to use the greater than symbol between these elements. So this symbol indicates that the property will be implemented only those elements which are child of this div element. So after changing this combinator, now we have the red background color only for these 2 paragraphs, and it is not affected for this paragraph 3. That's because these 2 paragraphs, paragraph 1 and paragraph 2, are the child elements of this div element, but the paragraph 3 is not the child element of this div because it is inside this another element section. So this paragraph 3 is only the descendant element of this div, not a child element. So the paragraph 3 is not affected by this background color property. Similarly, we have another selector, Adjacent Sibling Selector. The Adjacent Sibling Selector selects all elements that are the adjacent siblings of a specific element. Sibling elements must have the same parent element, and adjacent means immediately following. So to make the Adjacent Sibling Selector, we have to change this sign to plus. This plus sign indicates Adjacent Sibling Selector. Now in our web page, we can see that only the paragraph 4 is affected by this background color property. As we apply this plus sign which indicates Adjacent Sibling Selector, so when we use this Adjacent Sibling Selector combinator, the properties applied in it only implemented on that element which is immediately after that div element. So in our condition, we can see that the adjacent sibling of our div element, that means the immediate after this div element is this paragraph 4. That's why the property background color only implemented in this paragraph. So whenever you want to give the property for that specific element which comes immediately after our any elements like div, you can use this plus sign for adjacent sibling selector. Similarly, we have again another selector, that is general sibling selector. The general sibling selector selects all elements that are siblings of a specified element. Let's change our selector as a general sibling selector. For this, we have to use the sign tilde. Now let's save our coding. Now we can see that we have two paragraphs, paragraph 4 and paragraph 5 are affected by the property background color red. In this condition, we apply the general sibling selector, which makes the implementation of the given property for those p elements which were comes after our this div element. So whenever you add many p tags after this div element, we can see that all will be affected by this background color property. So this means by using this general sibling selector, you can make all the p tags will be affected by our property just after all the div tags. But before, when we use this plus sign for implementing adjacent sibling selector, it only affected for the first p tag just immediately comes after this div tag. But if you added more divs like div and something div tag, now we can see that we have another div. That's why the second paragraph 4 became immediately after this second div also affected by this background color. So this is the difference between general and adjacent sibling selector. In this way, we can use any of these combinator selector for selecting our elements as per our requirement. Like if you want to give this property for the a tags only, you can change this p element to your required element like a. Then after the div, the immediate a tag will only affected by this background color red. For now, we don't have any a tag in our HTML. That's why this background color is not affected in any of our elements. That's all for today. We will come back soon with new session videos. Until then, take care and goodbye.